Oh, you volunteered then?
Well done.
Are you here for the? No, that's okay. So what you can do is tonight, we're okay with tonight. So if you have some kind of listen to what the property design is going on, I'm assuming that's why you're here kind of. Or did they just send you? Okay. Okay. Well, I will say it's great. It's the first property design committee. So it's going to be a broad overview. It's that consultants kind of redesign the park. So you'll pretty much get some good information. I haven't heard yet. I emailed them. If you don't have if you're interested after tonight, pop on. You just want to stay on for public comments or doing public. Is there comments or Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I mean, that's not at all like, no, I guess it's a little bit of that. I'm like just getting involved in the little league, and then it's like,
I got you.
yeah. And this is like, I coached the fall league last year, and then this year, just getting into that, and then I was like, with the skate park and the parking, I was like, and it just seems like that's an issue, right? And then I was reading the minutes, and sometimes it was like, recommendation to the flagpole and supervisors to not read the flagpole. It's like, oh, that's really strange. And I was just like, wow, I mean, it just seems like crazy when you have a part that next later. Oh, okay. So I was just like, that just really intrigued me. I was like, here you have some beautiful things.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for showing up tonight. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And I would like to take a look at the minutes and ask for the approval of minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I'd like to open up the floor to any public comments.
And this is for any item on the agenda. So if you would like to make a public comment, this would be the period for that.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Chuck Stradowski, who is the landscape architect and is going to lead the latest version of the junk master plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As Kevin said, my name is Chuck Stradowski. I'm a landscape architect with YSM. We're a small landscape architecture firm that does just park and recreation design and plans. So we do park planning throughout the state of Pennsylvania. And we were fortunate enough a couple of years ago to help Huntington Township develop a master plan for Game Level Memorial Park. I'll go through it. So the original master plan for the park ended up looking like this. We know currently you guys have the 3 baseball fields that are very well used, concession building, there's some tennis courts, overlaid by pickleball courts, basketball courts, picnic areas and things like that. So going into the plan, it's a tight site. This is a really challenging site to be involved with. There's not a lot of acreage. The 3 ball fields are really, the existing 3 ball fields are really squeezed in there. And the master plan that was completed in 2020 was a real challenge. It was how do you accommodate everything that's in the site now and, future things. What else is wanted? The tennis courts, the basketball courts, they're kind of cut back in the back of the site. They're a little bit of disrepair. The idea of, rejuvenating them was a big part of the master plan. The idea of introduction of different opportunities. The master plan had proposed a basketball court and a skate park in the front yard, essentially along Superior Road. So, it was a challenge. I'll admit, the master plan was a challenge. We ended up landing on this image. So again, the current master plan had a very small parking area. The loss of 1 baseball field, the smaller field up here, it introduced basketball and a skate park along the road frontage. And then parking, which was, again, I know a commodity on the site as well. Most of your parking now is out here. We wanted to introduce parking and more parking. And we ended up with a design that pushed parking kind of to the back. So you can access kind of the back of the field to the backstops where we were. So you have people coming into the site from the backside. Tennis courts, there's an overlay of pickleball courts up in this corner, and then the picnic area in the back again. You have a nice playground that's got some drainage issues that we wanted to clean up. The pavilion in this back area is well used. Complemented that with just a couple, lawn games and things, and a trail. More formalized trail back there to help that. So that was the master plan that was completed in 2020. And we're here tonight to revisit that. And we're almost starting the process over. We had a lot of input from fairly recently. And tonight, again, we're starting to embark on a master plan, on a new master plan for the site. So we're here really just to listen to your thoughts and ideas, what you guys would like to see. We have a committee that's established in addition to the Park and Recreation Boards. We have volunteers that are stepping up to meet with us to help guide the master plan process. So that's where we are. The master plan process, as we have it lined out, like I said, tonight we'd like to just listen to what are your thoughts and ideas. What does the community really want to see? What would you like James Elmo Memorial Park to become? So we're looking for ideas this evening. We'll take those ideas, we'll go back to the office and we'll put together some sketches that look at different options of ways the park can be developed based on those thoughts. We'll come back to the committee, we'll ask for input on those options. We'll narrow it down to one design, and then we'll come, once we have a preliminary design, we'll do an advertised public meeting very specific to this park so that we can get public input. It's great, a lot of the public showed up tonight, and again, I really encourage at that meeting when we're a little further along in the process, where people can react to what they see. We'll get another round of public input trying to get clear ideas and vision for the site. After that, we'll kind of, work about the plan, we'll provide construction cost opinions for what the plan, what we envision the plan to cost, and then we'll develop a phasing plan. Again, just like the original master plan. The original master plan had a number of phases that broke construction into, different phases of construction in a logical sequence. And the one thing that did come about from the original master plan was the development of the skate park in the front of the park. So again, I drove by there tonight, it was crowded, as it is every time I come, so I think the skate park is a nice addition to the park. This plan is just an existing condition plan. We've added the skate park and the expanded parking to kind of reflect that. So kind of this is our starting board of where we are, and just wanted to get your thoughts and ideas of where we want to go with it from there. So, with that said, what are the ideas for Humble Park? What would you guys like to see? We can start with facilities. Are there facilities that you think are missing in the park?
So there won't be a survey of residents?
We don't have that in our scope, but we could talk about adding it as an option, or is it something, did the township do a survey?
They did do the survey for the previous plan.
Okay,
I believe we got around 600 to 800 responses.
okay,
And the largest response was the skate park, which is what drove that to be put into the first phase. I can look back into the master
How
plan.
many years ago was that?
2020. I mean, I have that here. I pulled it up because I don't think we can go into this without knowing what the residents want to see. So I pulled it up and I have the survey. What the survey I have wasn't near 600 to 800 people. It was like 200.
200, okay. That could be right. That might have been how many sent out versus how many we got back.
Yeah.
Because I believe the skate park, even with the highest response, was still, 60 or 80 people out. It wasn't hundreds.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the highest things. One of the highest things was multi-use sports field. There's a lot of things on here. The way it's broken down is kind of confusing, but bicycle and walking trails were up there. So I think we should, if we're not going to do a survey, we should at least look back to the old survey together.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. If we're not going to do a survey.
I think we need to pull up the old survey. At least have something to go on besides the people sitting in the room. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the community that.
well, we're also for a part of the recreation board, again, in a way they're the sounding board for, you guys, kind of, are the eyes and ears of the recreation community, so we will hear from you as well, but yeah, the resident survey, we'll certainly get a copy of that, and, we'll get this. Is it Frank? Can you read the?
Aaron.
Aaron?
Yep.
That was a great question, because I just jumped in on the committee here at the end. But the big question I had, I wasn't aware of a survey. I'm thinking, we should have a survey. But my question was, everything that we're doing here, who's it for? Is it for the township and the borough, or is it for our neighboring communities as well? I mean, because if I'm sitting here representing, am I just representing, I pastor the church, am I just representing the church here? Or am I representing the people of Honeygrove? I don't even know what they want. So I love your question.
That's a great question.
We have the skate park as the neighbor. It's been amazing for us. We've had no trouble. The people have been amazing. I love it. I think it's great. I see activity there. Activity means less trouble because there's stuff going on. But if you said to me, do we need another park? I'd say, I don't know if we need one. What are we doing with the ones we have? And is it fitting for us as a people? Or are we trying to reach out to somebody else? I didn't know we had that many skate people in Honeygrove, and we don't. Most of the people who come to that skate park are from other towns. But it's cool, it's great, I love it. But if we're gonna sit here and plan, if I'm gonna be a part of it, I wanna know what the direction we all are shooting for. Are we shooting for bringing other people in, or are we shooting for really catering to our own people? So what's our goal? I needed to know that.
serve our community and giving them the activities that they're looking for, but the draw with any park and rec is to get others to come in, whether it's ball tournaments, the ball fields, or whatever, to drive some
So to generate revenue, that we need to draw other people in? Or
It's just a way
we
to
take a
break
tax
in.
burden in Honeybrook for coastal area to bring them to our park, and what would be the goal for that? Well, I'm not against it or for it, I'm just simply asking for understanding of, you know, like we just got that new forest. Why would we put a walking trail in here for nature if we got the forest? I just want to make sure we utilize things because there's not much land here.
I don't think it's a generator.
I would
I
just
don't
say
think she
to
said.
draw others in.
No, just questioning, like,
Yeah, I don't think she meant generate revenue. But before we go any further, would the new committee mind standing up and introducing yourself?
I'll do that.
I apologize.
My name's Walt Schuler, everybody calls me Poke. I pastor the church here at Gateway Baptist Church, which we just changed the name to Honeybrook Baptist Church, because we want to be known as part of the community. I grew up in this town, got in trouble in this town. My uncle was a township officer. My heritage goes back to Broad Street, and that's where my parents were, my dad was raised. My grandmother lived on Maple Street. And it's just, this is Honeybrook for me. I love this town, I love the people of this town. And I figured when I was old enough, I was going to do something in this town. So, but our church has a goal of really wanting to be involved with the township and the borough and bring them together. There's things that we've already planned, we're looking into being involved with. And we are really excited as a church to be involved with the township and the borough. So when this opportunity came up, I said, hey, you know, why not be part of it and assist and bring everything together. Just to give you a short taste, we're looking at doing something during Harmony Days. We're having a huge bluegrass concert with bands that have been #1 on the charts. They're coming in, we're talking, we do it right. We do a movie thing every summer with a screen that's 20 by 30, 20 foot by 30 foot. We just want to have an impact, a wow impact, to help and just be a part. We've got a barbecue competition or a cook-off thing coming up during the Harmony Days. And what we're really excited about as a church is we kind of got an in with Kevin. We met Kevin, and it's just really is blended with the idea of being able to work together with the township. So that's who I am, that's who I represent, and I'm just glad to be here.
Erin Hamill, pretty much a lifelong resident of the area. I am also on the planning commission, and I have 2 kids, and heavily involved with I've been a volunteer soccer coach for 12 years and a volunteer high school soccer coach as well. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Laura Birdie. I am a Honeybrook resident, also a current supervisor, and am excited about this committee to figure out what we're going to do with this park so that more people can utilize it and have things to do.
Hi, I'm Amy Arbogast. I've lived in Honeybrook for over 20 years. We've raised our 3 children. They're my adults, I call them now. We raised them here. We used the park a lot. When my kids were growing up, they all played softball, and we enjoyed, you know, the camaraderie, opening day. The kids all like the snack stand. You could watch your friend play, and you go play, and it was just a really good time. And I guess now, you know, I'm still using the park. So I'm an avid pickleball player. We were setting up nets on the tennis courts for a couple of years now, and tennis courts are definitely in need of repair. I don't know where we're going to go as far as keeping tennis courts or building pickleball courts. But yeah, I'm still using the park. I go up there, I take my dog up there, and yeah, so I'm here to just give input as a resident.
Kevin, if I may,
Yes.
and for Chuck's and everyone's understanding, the initial cost for the previous jump plan was $4.8 million. And the previous manager had a $225,000 matching grant from DCNR to build phase one, and I think that construction cost was, in 2019 dollars, about $700,000 plus. So we had heard feedback from the board and the public that they believed that small of a parcel, that this amount of expense was excessive or a lot of money for the township to foot the bill. So I think part of the onus to get us back here where we are today is to not only revisit this plan, but actually have it in a financial state that the township is able to do all of the phases. So the hope is not to say we just want what we had and we're back at, I don't know if Chuck had had an estimate, but probably $6 million. So I think part of this update plan is we have to be fiscally responsible with whatever we get out of this process, that's manageable by seeking grants and supplementing it with taxpayer dollars. So I think maybe for Pastor Schuler's understanding, anybody who's not come here before, is we heard the concern that the cost for what we had planned previously was just outside of the comfort zone of the township. So this is a second chance, not saying that the other plan was not good, it's a great plan, but cost ratios to this community was a little bit higher than the supervisors in the community wanted. So Chuck, just for your understanding, part of this should be a financial viewpoint that, and again, it's not up to me, but I would think somewhere in the million, $2 million, $2.5 million, based upon us being able to get maybe a few million of grant funding and using, $500,000 to $1 million of taxpayer dollars. But that's something I think needs to kind of come out with this update. So it's not that we weren't unhappy, just fiscally, it certainly ballooned because this was pre-COVID, and I don't know what construction costs have gone up since then.
It's fair job, for sure. Okay.
So, to answer, I don't know who's going to be honest. I think, we want to service our community first, and then knowing that the skate park is bringing outside people, if you think about going to any normal park, we will travel to go, I don't know, to a park that has just an open field, let's say. Or, we as residents and parents are willing to travel to go to a park that, I don't know, is more toddler friendly, let's say. Our daughter's almost 2. So I think, again, we want to service our community, and I'm going to speak for you, sorry, but we want to service our community first, and then expand out. And again, I, as a teacher, I have kids have told me in the past, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, that they came out, they stopped going to Kerr Park to go to our skate park. So again, we're servicing our community first, but we're also bringing in those outside people to utilize our park, because Kerr Park's not cutting it for them for skateboarding, but to put it as and that's what my kids have said. So I think that's kind of, in my opinion, that should be our focus first, is looking at servicing our community and then bringing in the outside people, because that's.
Yeah, the skate park is a unique item. I mean, you have a small community park. It's a beautiful property. It can do a lot. The skate park is one of those destinations. I mean, there are a few things in recreation. The skate park, a splash pad, people will drive great distances. A great playground, a really big playground. People will drive a municipality or 2 over just to experience it. So the skate park, was a little more of a destination. It would, effectively draw outside people, but again, it's also serving your residents, and it's, again, it's more eyes and ears in the park than just use of the park, so I think that's a great win. But back to, for the planning, what, are there needs? I mean, has the rec board heard, are there needs in the township that you guys are hearing?
Parking is a big thing. We've definitely heard parking, so that's something that needs to be addressed in a good manner.
I think we should diversify the stuff that you can do at the park. Right now, everybody thinks of this park as a baseball park, because there's 3 fields, and there's really not a whole lot. Before the skate park, there's not a whole lot else. So I think we need to diversify maybe the.
I don't want to interrupt, that's why I raised my hand. What's the truth in the original intent of the park? I've heard that in the origin of the park, its intention was for baseball. I would love to know what the truth was. For example, if the park was purchased or if the park was donated, was it donated or purchased with the intent of having baseball? If it was, and we don't have any baseball going on, I could see us saying, what is good for our people? Because I'm all about the people, the town first. I don't see any sense in helping anybody else say, or drawing them in. We don't need to do that. I'm not against it, but if we neglect our own, what is the reason for a park would be for somebody that's in an apartment building that says, I can't walk my dog, I can't play pickleball, I can't afford to put the courts in my own house. I wish we as a people had a place that we could go to in our own town, that we didn't have to drive somewhere else. Did they put baseball diamonds in because we have such a cry for baseball that we don't have enough fields? And if that's the case, I know I just talked to Damon, the athletic director, and his concerns, and don't quote me, but it was, we don't have enough space, it's not being utilized right at that park, so we went somewhere else. They're still going to use the baseball parks here, but there's definitely conflict with the park, and I hope you don't mind me repeating, but he said that the intent of that park originally was for baseball, and I feel like we're kind of getting the boot for other things, and I don't know if that's true or not. But I would like to know, what is the intent of the park? Is it changing? What was it?
I don't know. I played baseball on those fields in '96, but we also played, there was a field back behind the old elementary school. There were fields that they built over behind the new elementary school. So we played on, I think there were like 3 fields behind the elementary school, the new one. And then there was one old field, and then there was actually another field where Marty Burns used to be. Behind there. So
There
there
was
was
3 baseball diamonds.
What?
What kind of park puts 3 baseball diamonds?
I have no idea.
Unless its intent was for baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. But are we moving intent? And if the intent is we have pickleball players now, then we need to put pickleball courts in.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we as people are doing.
I don't think we have to get rid of all baseball fields. I think also people are looking at soccer.
As part of the old master plan, baseball, as you can see, baseball is a huge portion of the existing park. You're absolutely right. Part of the original master plan, the same kind of conversations came about let's get a little more diversity in. We learned that the baseball that this field wasn't used all that often. It doesn't have a great orientation, for solar orientation. So, what can we do if we lost this field? The other thing, talking to the baseball league, this field is a little short, they would like it a little longer, So part of the master plan, or the master plan in 2020, expanded the outfield here. It was aggressive, because there's a pretty good, it drops right off on that fence. But that was, the baseball group at that time was willing to sacrifice the one small field that wasn't used and was kind of undersized. If they got larger, their main field was bigger, and, they maintained at least. So, and that's important, it's a discussion. On the agenda, you'll see, later, I would like to get key person in. I'd like to talk to the baseball group and talk to the different members and just see, are their numbers up? Do they need more fields? Does this accommodate their needs? So I will do, more communications with whoever you're talking to, but I think baseball is going to be probably one of the most important people to talk to get an understanding of what they need and how we can accommodate it.
We're going to keep at least one seat on this committee open, and hopefully by next meeting, we can have some representatives from the baseball group. I know they were invited, and I know that we will re-invite them.
Okay.
So I think, well, to answer your question, from my perspective, I think times are changing, and we need to change the park to accommodate that. I think it's not 1996 anymore, and what does that look like? I know, taking out that big open field and putting in the skate park, you're losing that open space, that multi-purpose field. And I know, you and I have talked about it, to put that somewhere back in here would be great. To redo the tennis courts, to redo the basketball courts. Like we've talked about it, just the two of us as parents, as community members, like that's what we would like to see out of the park is a space for a multi-purpose field, you know,
Set up volleyball nets.
yeah, like
you
the
can set
portable
up
volleyball nets, you can set up, what else, like,
Soccer fields, flag football, regular football, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, just
You
having
really
that
don't
big-
have
Skeet
that.
shoot.
yeah. But to have that back in there, I think is important. I think the tennis courts is a big thing. Is it repurposing them? And I know nothing about pickleball, other than there's something with a kitchen or a sink, or both, I don't know. That's literally, no,
I don't even know
is there
that.
something with a kitchen?
Yes.
See, I did something. But I think, like, is it beneficial to redo those tennis courts to be just pickleball? Does it make more sense to repurpose them or to redo them and make them tennis courts?
So do you do another survey and find out the information you're talking about, and then do we cater to 5% of what's needed in the park, or 80% of what's needed in the park? Or do we go to him and tell him, hey, we want everything in the park, and then he's pulling his hair out, and then the baseball diamond's too small, and the
Yeah,
pickleball courts are
and I
half
think
the size.
that was maybe the problem with the first master plan. For $4.8 million, we put everything in there and kind of, let's see what sticks.
Right.
I don't know if a survey is the best way to hear from our people, knowing the community that we have.
So what is the best way?
I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know. It's a matter of, can we get the older residents? Like, I can think of your grandfather, he's not checking Facebook and filling out an online survey.
Agreed, in the
Um,
Amish community.
the Amish
But
community.
you have to have a survey and go give it to people.
Yeah, and I think,
It's still a survey.
but that's costly to get all those people to go out.
What if you do it during an election time? I mean, how much time do we have, where when they come in, you give them
We actually all signed up at one of our last meetings.
Yeah,
If I can just kind of interject too, and maybe that's some of the hodgepodge of why this is all happening here, is we are void park space in our township based off of our population. So yeah, there's going to be an aspect of we're trying to hybrid overlay things. We also have to be mindful in the surrounding areas, besides the fact that, hey, people are coming from Downingtown to use our skate park. Well, we also have a beautiful new pickleball court set up in the Brook. Now, are we doubling down? And, you know, almost to the point of, again, I came from TV, Twin Valley Baseball Association. I sat on the board for 4 years as Twin Valley Little League and as Twin Valley Baseball Association. There's an abundance of fields. It's whether it's you're maintaining all these fields or you focus on one general area.
Is there enough pickleballs or not? Is there too many baseball fields? Do we have too many walls?
Correct. And to speak of baseball in general, it's a dying sport. Lacrosse is up and coming. Soccer itself is rising. I mean, they're declining, but as far as baseball, it is way down. It is the most declining sport in America. So, not to say that it's not important to Honeybrook, but there's a census right there. I also know that raising an elevated fence doesn't mean you elongate a fence or a field. And a baseball field is a massive field, so it kind of confines it to one specific field, as opposed to a multi-use field that could be soccer, lacrosse. Hey, not every outfield's got a fence. You can put a pole, and it's wide open. It doesn't have to be confined.
We're also forgetting there's a huge Amish community that uses that park, and a lot of them, I think, used to use that open space. So I don't know how much of a void that's left for them, because they used to use it for volleyball, so I think it would be helpful to hear from them as well.
Yeah, and I was thinking that too. Like, I never saw anything like a hitching post or anything like that in the plans. Is there one?
there's technically a hitching post in the back.
Well, you can't get there.
Well, you can't get there. But there is that.
Say something
That's a
in
good point.
regards to our
What are the rules and regulations, or what's the regulation in the park?
What are the regulations?
Is it from dawn to dusk, right?
Yes.
Every hour.
Okay. Why do we need to call the cops to get the people out?
Because I'm glad they do. Because I'm tired of the vandalism and junk that happens to my
And I
church.
called with a resident, and he said, they're even taking the kids down there by themselves because they got foul words and drinking at the skate park.
Can I speak? Is that right? I wouldn't call it the skate park because you're stereotyping people that they're more wicked or more dangerous because they skate. And truth of the matter is I've had less bad experiences with the skaters than I have. They're just kids that like to skate for the most part, ride their bike. Most of the trouble I have when I deal with Officer Klinger in town or any of the other police or the state police, I usually get a list of who it is. Most of them are out of town kids. Most of the kids in town don't really cause too much trouble, and if they do, it's very minimal things. It's cool to say that. The biggest trouble I have at the church is they like to smoke dope in my parking lot. And I get drug deals that go down to the parking lot every week, all the time. And this isn't about the fence, but when the fence came down, it made it a little bit worse because now they hide in the dark on the park side and are able to walk right across, so they're not caught under my lights. Skate park really hasn't caused any trouble. If you fence the whole thing in, then you're shutting off the park to the people that maybe want to walk right in the dark. But you just call a cop if it gets bad. The cops go in there and they know that state cops park there every Sunday and a couple times during the week to do reports. And they sit in our parking lot just to put a little bit of pressure to keep the troublemakers away. Male, female, old man, young man. And as a neighbor, which you are, but I'm an adjoining neighbor, I like the presence of the cops. It's not been that bad. It's usually the out-of-towners. I don't know if that helps you a little bit more insight as a direct neighbor.
Well, I know the neighbors, they don't want to have their kids out and playing in the yard. It's right beside the skate park.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a stereotype of the state park. It's not.
There should be a fence there. And if there's a pond there, before you, kids run down through there and they jump in the pond, whose fault is that? The drown?
Parents.
Need a fence there again.
It's a good time. We'll look at how we define the property line.
That sounds like that's wrong.
Buffer or
A buffer.
We rehearsed with that?
Fence?
Yeah.
There needs to be a fence there.
Yeah, who suggested that?
Fine.
Okay.
If they don't serve the neighbors and be behind that, pine trees, some of that, that's not necessary. So we need a porta box there or something like that.
what other thoughts do you guys have? What other, did you lose something with the skate park? Did you lose open space that was once
Yes.
used by?
Yes,
What did you
we
use?
didn't know nothing about it until we were starting it. We didn't hear nothing about it. Until they took all our money from the land reserve to build that. And we didn't get it back in 4 years.
Well, there was a volleyball court there, and they never maintained it, and I don't know why.
Well, the problem with volleyball court was, and I experienced it, they were breaking bottles in the sand. Nobody wants to play in the sand with broken glass in the sand. And then it wasn't right down, it wasn't clean. I mean, we used to play there. And then once you go down and you see broken bottles because somebody thought it was funny, it's over.
Well, it's just a matter of maintenance, social maintenance.
That's what I mean, then, what's the township, you guys gonna send somebody down there and scoop it out? You should.
Well, I think if we have a
You know.
park, we need to maintain it, we
Yeah.
need to make sure it feels safe. I think security is a big thing there. I think there should be cameras there. I think there should be
Lights.
lights that come on when there's movement that will deter the darkness. I mean, bad things happen in the dark. You know, I see cars sitting in there all the time, blacked out windows, like, that darkness is crime's friend, you know, so I think it needs to feel safe there first and foremost.
I think to stick with his agenda, we review what the plan is, have to do what you said, find out what we want. You can't design a plan until we say this is what we think is necessary and overcome some of the obstacles of what maybe the neighbors or the townships that
Yeah,
were
security and maintenance, all that, we've been working
Yeah,
on.
that's easy.
Yeah, tonight, supposed to be a good brainstorming session. You know, I do want to hear what do you guys want to see? It's really,
concern with pickleball courts, the borough's been great, they've been letting us use their courts. When they first put them in, we kind of overwhelmed them.
Too much.
They were like, this is for our residents only, and it was kind of like, but they've been really cool. But a lot of parks around lock their courts to their residents only. They give keys.
You have to be a resident to get it.
Sometimes, some pickleball places are like, you have to be a resident to get a key, which, I mean, who's to stop you from giving your key to a friend that wants to play there? I don't know, but it's, some townships really.
As Mark noted, I mean, if the intent is the township will likely go for funding through the state to try to get funding.
Yeah.
If you do that, you cannot pay or you can't charge, well, you can charge admission, but you
No, I
cannot
don't want to, I'm
close
just
it
saying
to-
for us as residents, I know a lot of residents that want pickleball courts.
Yep.
And I know we have some, and it's wonderful, but will they always be accessible?
So that's what you're saying, is that if it's state fund, if it's federally funded, whatever that looks like, we cannot lock them.
You can't exclude other people.
Okay.
You can lock it at nighttime and keep them safe.
Yeah, I got it.
Secure.
You can't
And
have,
if you charge
say,
fees, you can charge fees, and you can make resident fees less expensive than, than out of
Yeah.
township fees, but it has to be open to
okay,
everybody.
I just want to understand that.
That's why I asked
Thanks.
the question, is our intent revenue, or are we trying to have a park for our people?
I don't want to lock, I'm not saying lock the courts, I'm just saying we do need pickleball courts because some
How many
places
split?
really crack down.
How many did the borough put in?
They put out in four,
Four.
there's 4 courts.
And we had,
We have 2 tennis courts, and which would accommodate for
is the Honeybrook is permanent court, so you don't have to put the nets out each time.
No, and that was really a lot, because we would come to the
You had to
township
come here to get them.
and then go put up the nets, and somebody had to come early. I mean, it has been really nice to have those there.
How does tennis, is tennis something that you think is needed in the township?
I only saw one person come up and play tennis, and I think it was you, Kevin, and then you came over and started playing pickleball, okay?
Yeah, you converted.
Well, I'm not speaking for this year, but when we mow tennis balls like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Until the fence came down. When the fence came down, they were able to come get their tennis balls, so that made it better. But prior to that, there was a lot of people who played tennis, more than that.
A lot of that.
Not as many pickleball players.
I haven't seen, not that I want to get rid
But
of
it's
it.
a-
There's no tennis courts in
As the
there.
courts got in worse shape, there was a decline in the tennis, because they need a nice court to play. Just like pickleball or baseball.
So similar to you, I stewarded
Basketball.
those fields, I was a field officer for TVBA and TVLL, so I spent most of my majority of the times on those fields. Any cloud of dust, you can thank me for that. But most of the time, it was a singular player playing against a wall. So there's that one beat up plywood wall that they're just, getting the reps in, doing some exercise, stuff like that. So I wouldn't say tennis is way there, and I would like to see that kind of hybrid mentality with pickleball court that maybe is stationary in the fact that the equipment is there, maybe under lock and key, perhaps, I don't know. But
Well, how many
It's not
pickleball
the
courts
same.
does it take to play pickleball? Like, you have teams that come out and you're playing 4 teams
It
at a
takes
time?
4 courts. Well, no, it takes 4 people to play on
Pickleball.
one pickleball court, but there are times like when we're over at the borough, when we're all 4 of those courts are used, and we put our paddles up and then everybody takes
Is it
turns.
standard time of day that pickleball's played, like, is it in the evenings?
Morning and evening.
Morning and evening,
Round
so
the clock.
it's used a lot.
It's used
Yeah.
a lot. And to have like the temporary ones, the only problem with that is, they have that in West Nantmeal. It's a net and
Okay.
it doesn't stay as, it's kind of like sag down and it's just not as the same.
How about the basketball courts? Are they getting used? I know,
Yes.
disrepair, but yes, basketball.
Yes, we used it a lot this summer, this fall.
Yeah, just,
But those basketball hoops are horrendous. I could rant. They need to be redone. Not necessarily, I mean, we weren't playing basketball, but the hoops themselves need to be redone. Looking at the kids who were in there, I mean, I 3 years ago now, I guess, would play tennis, and there would be kids in there playing basketball. So I think the resurfacing of them is beneficial. Again, I think we want to keep this as multi-purpose park as we can, so.
But that's why I asked the question, how many people in the borough and the township use the park? And then if we're a small borough, a small township compared to Euclid or something, if we're only gonna have a small amount of people playing basketball, we don't need a lot of basketball courts, but we should have a nice one for our people. And maybe we don't have 4 pickleball courts, maybe we got 2 that make it easier to play. And they should be stationary, they shouldn't have to set up all the time. But I don't think we should neglect anything within reason. But if we've got pickle, and I'm not against it, I like should do like pickleball.
I know.
I'm just using it for an
You
example.
saw the amount of people that go up there in the evenings.
But that's why I said earlier, if 80% of the people want pickleball, we need to focus on pickleball, at least for now. And if 10 years from now, pickleball's out and it's frisbee golf, which we just heard is growing like crazy, as a township, we need to adapt with our people and grow with them so that the park adapts with them. So we're not sitting here throwing horseshoes, it's, you know, but to try and accommodate everything is going to be crazy. And have 4 basketball courts and 4 pickleball courts and escape, it's not going to happen. Not on there, they're not showing us sell that. Use the money to buy 25 acres and then let's go.
Yeah, and to your point, that could have potentially what happened, 1996 or whatever, that predominantly we were focused states.
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, Twin Valley Little League only came to fruition because it was all the local towns, Elverson, Bernard, and Morgantown, all had individual teams, and then TVLL got right in, Little League Senior National. No, they absorbed. They said, we're going Little League, you better join us now. We're going to let that one go. So they went with a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, baseball's gonna be a key one, I mean, figuring out what their needs are and how they can accommodate them. Is this the best site for it?
If you had one big field, just for conversation, we moved it up to the top, I mean, that changes your whole plan. That opens up pickleball, that opens up basketball.
We don't have a plan. We're here to.
That's what I'm saying, so
Yeah.
if we can figure out, like,
You're leaning more towards one field is what you're.
yeah, or, I'm simply saying, we need to find out what you said, that was the #1 thing. We've got to find out what the people want. And
It's pretty much all, you're here because most of us are new and on this board, and we've had many conversations about our 11-acre, 12-acre park, 13-acre park. And I'm just going to talk in rough terms here. 80% of the good land in that park is baseball fields. And I think we started looking at this thing as, how many kids from Brook are in the league, right? We did a lot of background work before today, the second thing was parking. And then what really exposed it was the skate park coming in. And it almost seems like, well, if there wasn't enough parking before the skate park, there's definitely not going to be enough parking now. So that kind of was the rocket, that was the motivation for, we need to do something different here. We've had conversations about field availabilities, things that I didn't know, like I thought this was the only game in town. There's plenty of baseball fields around. So we were looking at things like how do we open things up for more than just baseball players? Why does the basketball court need to be all the way in the back? And why don't we have a tot lot that's usable? The one that we have is in the flight zone of any foul balls that are coming out. The other tot lot is way, way, way back in the corner, which is almost off limits. So I just wanted to remind everybody of how we got to this point right here.
which is what she's.
Yeah, you're not gonna get everything, so I think we need to find out what the people want.
Because it's not a kids park. It's the township park for pickleball, for playing soccer, for playing baseball, for, I guess, all you go.
I mean, that's a good point, you know, it's not a kid's park. I mean, last year I was showing up at the pickleball group, it was a fun group, and they were really enjoying it. And the park, and well, this is actually another reason why we're here, and the park, and the surfaces were really in disrepair. And I think Warren found us some resurfacing money, and because of the pickleball group, you know, I'd like to have seen the court resurfaced.
Not just resurface, Warren was going from the stone up. So if we took a step back and said, well, wait a minute, before we go to that permanent stone up, let's make a look at everything and see how we can do the parking, do the pickleball courts within a budget that's
Oh, yeah.
working for today's.
I forgot the keyword. You were so right. The budget is probably was first and foremost, as far as, the last one was not tenable, and the next one has to be.
I can tell you, again, this plan, which was where we were, I'm going to say most of the construction was in this. It was the buildings and the structures, the walls, and the things that catered to baseball. I think that was one of that is the lion's share, most likely, of cost increases that resulted in the $4 million price tag. Because when you look at it, you know, this is the existing field. We really didn't have to do too much to it. This is the existing field. Didn't have to do too much to it. We lost this one baseball field back here, so that was a sacrifice. Again, at that time, it seemed reasonable to offer up one baseball field to provide parking. And then again, getting the parking out of the front, putting it in the back, where again, it's closer to the backstops. It's more convenient for the players and the coaches that want to get there. You know, tennis in the back, tennis pickleball in the back. You know, this is kind of a remote portion. I wasn't really excited about that. So in the same respect, it's you know, it's kind of a destination. You drive to it, you play, and you move along. So you know, and we're this kind of thing, based on what I've heard tonight, I mean, we want to keep basketball, we want to keep tennis, pickleball. You know, baseball's unknown, but I'm assuming we're still going to want to keep a field. You know, this was a big talk at the previous national plan. I mean, it's a picnic area. It's actually a very nice picnic area. It's got the pavilion, it's got the place. The playground has some issues, we can address those. You know, the biggest concern is it's so remote and it's so removed and it's so out of view that it was, you know, it's a concern for security. I mean, that was a big, I remember that conversation very well. But it's hard to talk. I don't know, you know, it almost sets up as an ideal situation, you know, picnic area, because it is remote and it is secluded and it does offer some nice amenities, you know, but we got to address the security there. And, you know, if it's lights, if it's cameras, if it's just better vigilance down there, I think you can do all that. So, again, everything I'm hearing tonight, I mean, really, it's like, I still kind of like this plan. I wonder if it's more, you know, if you know, we can, if the cost for a concession, a new concession restroom building, you know, almost like an enclosed, netted area for pitching and batting, or bleachers. There was a lot of grading. We did include a lot of earthwork and some walls, which again were big price tag items in this manager plan. If we can not put so much emphasis on baseball, these amenities for the baseball, I think we can get those costs substantially down. And you know, still cheaper, more parking. This might be lost to basketball, but we have to find a place if we still want to pursue basketball court on the site. You know, because there's not a lot of room down there with the state finances there. So, Mark.
Where does the disc golf factor into this? If that was
That I think you can come off and.
This wasn't in that. Right now, the disc golf, the disc golf doesn't really take up any space. There's a couple 4x6, like boxes, and then you just have, you know, a net every once in a while. So-
Where is it at?
Oh, so if you, basically where the skate park is like the first hole, like going along down, and then a lot of it is back in the back corner with where the picnic area.
How many
is.
holes are there?
And they're short.
Yes, exactly.
It's miniature golf.
But,
Okay.
oh yeah, no, it's mobile. So if we decide to change something, you just dig up the net and move it.
And the tee box, and it's not,
Yeah, everything.
it's not, I don't,
It's not
Nothing's
permanent.
being concreted in.
Yeah.
yeah.
But, so, what I'm thinking is, if this group wants to do another survey, do we put together a list of things that people can look at? Instead of trying to give somebody a blank piece of paper, and say, write down what you want. Let's look at like 10 different things that we can send out and say, hey, rate these 1 through 10 of what you would like to see. So it helps focus everything. Instead of giving, if you're gonna do another survey, giving them a blank sheet of paper, and you're gonna have people say they want
They
like
want
a
to
skydiving.
they want a swimming pool, they want a rest center. We don't want those.
Yes, so I mean, again, we do surveys, we've done quite a few of them, we can certainly help out with the survey, it's, you know, we have our line there, but we can develop it with you, what you want to see, and, you know, we tailor it to the site. You know, some things just don't fit, they're not, to be honest, I would say, disc golf would not be something that would be a survey, because this is the site is so small.
But is it,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this golf is, I'm gonna, for lack of a better word, signed, sealed, delivered, it's getting put in, it's, okay, so this golf needs to be accounted for, not in the survey, because it's happening.
That's what I mean, like.
Yes.
So in the future, like, and I know they can be moved, but. you
But we need an idea of
Right.
where they're going to be.
So that even though there's enough room to put them, depending on where other things are, you know, they may have.
Yeah,
What we try to utilize is the area where, like, you can't really put anything else.
Right.
Because
It's
it's
the
really wet and it's wooded, and we're just trying to utilize all the space in the park so that, because in the back area, it's super wet during the spring and the fall, like, area. And then it's also super wet back, like where that old volleyball court is, it gets really wet in that part of the field also. So we were trying to utilize space that you really can't put anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you guys probably know this, but this dark green area is a literal delineated wetland. I mean, it is, these are wetlands that we really can't touch. I understand, you know, the areas we get a little soggy on the outside, especially in the spring. But again, anything outside the wetland, you can.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
and
work
the disc
right
golfers
out.
don't care to trek through dirt, mud, and water, like, that's part of the disc golf community, is to put on your muck boots and go play disc golf in the muddy areas.
Chuck, are you talking about opening up the back of this park to parking, to traffic?
Well, again, that's what the plan, that's what the last plan showed. I mean, we're starting to do, so it's not,
Is there a reason they don't want to move the baseball diamond? Is it a lot of money to move a baseball diamond?
we looked at it, it's money.
Is it a lot of money?
It's,
Significant amount of money?
depends on how it's graded, you know, it's graded on a nice, you know.
You know, baseball's not a focal point of the park, and we use 3 parks, why do we have this giant concession stand? And, you know, I mean, we don't put up an electronic billboard, because if it's not about baseball, and you move the baseball to the back corner, and that opened up soccer fields now, and then you've got a different place of parking, and then, I mean, we can't use the wetlands, I'm just saying ideas. Like, why are we focused around that baseball? And I'm okay if we are, if that's what this town's about, and we should be there.
And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'll do the key person interviews with the baseball community. I mean, if they can live with one field, or if they don't need it, or, you know, but if they have the numbers, then, you know, you're gonna take that away from
But you don't want to do if you got
your community that grew up playing baseball here. I mean, I hate to take that away, but again, if the numbers are falling, and if they have fields elsewhere, then
I was having a baseball diamond anywhere else.
Let's take baseball out of the little leagues and let's think about the community that uses it. I know for a fact the Amish community does rent that park and they play baseball. Softball, whatever, they need a field.
That's what I mean.
So, do you see what those are our community members that are using that park? taking away a baseball field, I mean, we don't need three, obviously. I think when this Park was built, it was the Honeybrook Little League. We became the Twin Valley Little League. 5-8 years ago, we met with some of those to see the number of our residents, our boys. It was minute. If we had 3%, plus they couldn't afford it. So we're really not servicing Honeybrook residents with the league all game.
But you have to be careful, because if we're not serving Honeybrook residents with Little League, we're not just serving Honeybrook residents with the skate park. And there's not enough people in Honeybrook to play Frisbee golf, although I like Frisbee golf. We gotta be careful what we're doing, because right now, we got a skate park, Frisbee golf, and is this for the people or not?
That's why I say we do have community members
Yeah.
that use that ball field without it being involved in any type of
Right.
organized sport.
Well, I think to have ground to stand on, when people get upset and say, why did you get rid of a baseball field? Here's the survey. People didn't want it. It's not a priority for the people. Here's why. Otherwise, it's just, you know, we didn't think we needed it. You know what I mean? Like, you need a ground to stand on. And I think that's where the survey comes in. Otherwise, people are going to be mad that they're going to lose the baseball field. I think we need, personally, a multi-use sports field there. I think it covers a lot more activities, but you're going to lose the baseball field. So, you know, at least, yeah.
Well, not all.
Right,
You're saying.
I do
Okay,
think.
I just wanted to make sure you're.
No, I think we need
Yeah.
to keep a ball field, not three, but at the same time, I don't want to do a disservice to the quality either. You know, but someone's got to give.
So an open field's big, that's a big thing, so we need a baseball diamond. That's, whether we need a survey or not, we still need a baseball diamond.
I agree, yeah.
And we need to look in to see if we have an open field.
Right.
And we need to make sure we have pickleball, 'cause that's probably one of the busiest things down here outside of skateboard. So there's a few things, and we got the Frisbee.
Yes. Steve?
Well, again, I just want to remind everyone that deciding that about baseball is really like ancillary. The real issue is we have 7 acres of good ground, and it's all covered with baseball fields. It's nothing against baseball, but if we would open this park up to other things, that we have to make some decisions. There's no new ground, there's 8,000 citizens in Honeybrook Township, and there's 8 acres in our wetlands. That's 1 acre for every 1,000 people. That's not good. I'm pretty sure we're below, I think the last, obviously, we don't have enough park space in Honeybrook Township. But the park space that we have, we should use it better.
Steve, can I ask how often all 3 baseball fields were used, like, say, a baseball, like, at one time?
So it was a weekend event, T-ball would kick off first, it would be 9 o'clock, all 3 fields, followed by 2 fields for T-ball, 10 o'clock, followed by the rookies, minors, and then softball, and everything done.
Okay. So I can say the rentals that we get for the park, we rarely get all 3 fields rented. If in one event, it's typically 2 fields, and typically no more than 1 group is renting baseball fields at a time. At least in the 3 years I've been here, no 2 groups have been renting baseball fields at the exact same time. So just for information wise, it seems like all 3 do not continuously get used at the same time, just for your consideration.
Unless it's by the same group using them at the same time.
Correct.
Yes, and I'm also saying that even like our community groups don't, all 3 tend to not be utilized at the same time. But if I want for just for consideration purposes and how many deals.
Well, I guess the crux, you know, if a survey is something we want to do, we should, I mean, if that's something we think is good, you know, we need to move forward.
Is it free? I like to open up, does anyone on the floor have anything to say? Valerie?
For the survey, can you just make sure with the different options, can you put a cost amount so people kind of know, like,
Yeah, it's hard just because I mean.
Well,
I
can
can
you
tell you
say
the
like
cost of
one
paint.
pickleball court would be approximately this much, or can you do that, or no?
I'd say no. I mean, I really don't think, because pickleball, I could do a pickleball and basketball, but beyond that, in baseball fields, it's all on the earth.
Because I think that might make a difference for a lot of people if they see the cost associated with it. Like, yeah, they'd like to have X, but if it costs $500,000, then they might
But
not.
I almost, I don't know, the survey shouldn't be that, I think as a resident, you should be able to say, this is what we want, and not worry so much about the
I'm being
cost.
concerned, I'm thinking in my head, like, it's not even a monetary number. It's literally like going to a restaurant and it's just like $2 bills versus $5 bills. You know, the simple. You're just seeing like, oh, that's more expensive. I don't think you want to bring that into the equation because people are immediately going to say, my money's going to waste on something that shouldn't be this expensive for a pickleball. I think it's you take that equation out, you say, what do I like? And then it's in the hands of numbers, and Aaron, I speak very, like it's easier to defend decisions when you have something to point back to and say, yeah, I'm sorry, we only have 3 baseball fields, because at that time, that was the majority of the people that screamed the loudest. And I think maybe the survey is the smoking gun in this situation when decisions are made.
Yeah, like, I don't want to hear from the people that want to use the park. I'm not concerned about the money, but if there's 20% of the Hunterbrook Township and Borough that would use the park, I want to hear from those 20% what they want in the park.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Our township's so large, we don't even know who we're missing, right? And I have the ability, I live across from Honeybrook Elementary School. I literally walk to Uncle Park, my child does all the time, not that the skate park's here, we actually ride the skateboard there. So I want to speak for those that are, you know, up towards Welsh Mountain or the far side down 322. You know, I don't know if they
See, that's where it's
somewhere else.
I really don't care what's going on in Welsh Mountain, because I want to hear from the Honeybrook people first, and if the Honeybrook people want 3 baseball fields and Welsh Mountain want to play pickleball, Welsh Mountain can put a
But
pickleball.
they're
Well,
both
I
townships.
Well, I'm calling out Marvin.
He's
No,
on
no,
the-
yeah, I'm still on
I'm
the.
sorry.
No, and
Yes,
it's
but you know what I
fine.
mean.
And it's our previous board meeting, we had a gentleman who, he was actually, I guess, joining this committee, couldn't make it here. He's an electrician by trade, he's also a skateboarder that's brought his kids, and now he's coming here where he normally would have never, and now he's, wants to be a part of this. Like, I don't know.
I think the taxpayers though should drive what goes in there.
Agreed.
So the survey is only going to go out to the residents of Honeybrook Township?
I think it should,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The township and the borough?
No, the township
The
is,
town is paying for it.
Okay, I'm just- But if we're saying, if we want to utilize all of Honeybrook, that's the borough, and that's ours.
Excuse me?
What do you want to survey out there?
Well, I
Yeah, you
want
can't
to
do
generate
anything
it,
else.
probably come back to the next meeting with a draft of it, so we can, as a group, talk about how, you know, are the questions appropriate, and the facilities that we're putting, I say, we'll generate a list, and then the next meeting, we can either add to it, subtract from it, you know, whatever. So we can draft a survey that could be talked about in the next meeting.
What are your thoughts on the survey?
Again, they're helpful. If you have one that's not that old, I mean, I think it's still valid, but, if you want to update it,
It's right here, if you want to go.
So Chuck, if you have 8,000 residents and if Aaron said we got 200 responses, how much weight do you give 200 responses if you're not hearing from the other 8,100 residents?
That would be my concern, that Little League could take it, their survey there and have 20% of our respondents to one day, that's all.
it depends on your population.
Right, and how we're focusing on getting it.
We've gotten better at surveys, and the survey, the typical results used to be like 60% of the population responds, and we get, you know, better, but it's not 100%, you know, but I think we can explore that if you want to.
When one of the new developments went up, they put a basketball court in
you know why? You know why people don't play basketball? You guys know why? The courts are horrible, nobody plays them.
Right, like if
You know, so to say they don't show up, you can't go by.
Yeah, I know many men that would get out there on an evening.
And you guys know that, I just wanted to say it, but, you know, so if you know they want to play, then you feel good putting the money in it and setting it up. So, you know, maybe we look at the core things, basketball, pickleball, one baseball diamond, or two baseball diamonds instead of three, and make sure we have an open field. Let's pick the top ones and roll with it.
Again, part of this process is all your ideas are going to fit, and, you know, it's our job to go back and lay out what is appropriate. And what does, you know, we need different options. Some might have a multi-purpose field, some might not, just because it doesn't fit. You know, this is going to be part of the process we'll go through. Yeah, a 2-year-old survey, I think, is appropriate. You know, if we wanted to save a couple dollars, because there's going to be a cost to it.
The last one.
You told us it's only going to cost us like $2-3.
I think the last one was about $5,000. $5,000.
This was 2020, okay, so that was 5 years ago.
Well, I think in the comp plan, they do that, but that's for.
How'd you get that?
The activities.
It's online.
It's very.
We'll send it to you after, all the members got it, so since you just joined, Miranda will get your email before you leave, and we'll send you the park plan, the park comp plan, and all the addendums.
And I think to summarize kind of why we would want this committee to grow and hopefully some others join us is because we were looking for community members, resident members of all sorts of walks of lives to kind of advise us as we advise board of supervisors so that we're not tunnel vision, just looking at our Humble Park as it is, kind of frisbee golf, pollinator habitat, park benches, you know, youth programs, family fun nights, that you would bring a breath of fresh air as well as an outside opinion. And I defer to you if you feel that the committee's not going to be able to summarize it without more residents' involvement. I could be sold on that as well, but to the point of a survey, yeah, it could easily be monopolized. I've seen it done from an organizational standpoint, and to speaking of the point of the baseball association. They throw it out and say, hey, we may lose our ball fields. Vote yes to this referendum, or what have you. And then you monopolize the survey, sway the votes, and all of that.
Is there a way to make sure that the survey only includes, like, you put your address, like, if you're doing an online survey, to make sure, like, only one survey per household or something like that?
You start running into money though, is that because
So we can do it one survey per household, we do ask, we can't make people how survey it is, but we do ask residency, you know, are you a?
Yeah, but
are
if
you
people
a borough
apply,
resident?
I mean.
Yeah.
Like, so there's no way to, like, ask, so that people don't fill it out 10 times, you know what I mean?
Well, it would come from a different, it has to come from 10 different computers. So
And you can tell by.
you can, yeah, it would give one, the IP address will allow one or one. So you can control that, but,
Yeah, but you can't go just based on computers because of the population by number. So you are taking your word that you are only filling it out one person or one survey per household.
So we're gonna have to have some paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you're just trusting the people. And that
And
takes
that's
one of
that's
it.
why we brought up a while ago, when we did the survey during the election.
Yeah.
Because only residents are gonna show up here or at Telby, is that what they need to?
Yeah, for the job.
So that's what we tried, but the problem is, I don't think we have another election in a while.
May 20th.
Oh, really? We're gonna be able to do that by then? Because that was the same problem we had, I was trying to get this done for last November, to have some kind of survey, and we couldn't get it done by that November.
What if you just did paper and people actually have to just send it out to every household, and every household will work out? And they have to.
Community church does, we're not.
Is it Sam's what, almost $1 a piece? So if you,
Do you get billed before or after you get returned? I guess you pay
so then you're talking $2 a household, 8,000 resident,
Well, how many households are here?
I don't know, but you'd also have to mark individual addresses on each individual survey. It's not just about the return envelope.
Right.
What's to say someone can take a survey and photocopy it
Well, you
100
have
times?
to see like,
Certified.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think it has to be that, it's just giving an idea. And if that's 5 years old, it's close, that's our job.
And perhaps we're getting
Well, maybe it's your job.
a little too, I don't want to also get so hung up on the activities as much as, are there amenities and accessibilities that we are not addressing even when we're thinking about this, that we're not, looking at fine-tuned things, whether they're accessible trails, whether we have ADA restrooms, whether is there public restrooms. Right now, the restrooms are only afforded to events that they unlock the door. Other than that, there's porta johns set out there that I don't think you want to put your kids in or whatnot. But like, think of an amenity, and I'm struggling to think of other things, even like wayfinding information. I know we have the kiosk going in, things of that stuff that I think make up a park besides just a ball field and tennis courts as well. And I know this committee has talked about as far as plantings, pollinators, habitats. I mean, we could go with the version of a CSA, perhaps, for a community supported agriculture, a small little garden for the youth. It could be endless. And one could say that, we're not advocating for agricultural that's in our community because we don't have started in their own little plot, but maybe their family doesn't have a lot of land behind them. I think you could go down this rabbit hole for a long, long time. So I think we just have to pump our brakes a little bit. I think as far as the advisory board up here, whether it's a motion to pursue the survey or not, I don't know. I struggle because if you're telling me 5 years is relevant enough, then I think there's enough information there.
If, in your professional opinion, doing this all the time,
We don't do them,
What were some of the top things on that? I know security was one, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's another one, security, lighting, and on Converse.
This doesn't have, it's not, the way it's done is hard to read. It's ranked very important, somewhat important, not important, not needed. So it's not like just a straight up, what do you want more?
This is a neighbor, I'm not just concerned about whether we're playing basketball. I'm as concerned where you're putting that parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
I can guarantee you that, because I'm sick and tired of the damage that occurs from things being in the wrong spot and other things that happen. And, my parents lived in the house in the very back corner. And when certain things are laid out certain ways, I'm lucky my dad didn't shoot people sitting on his back porch at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like, when certain things are opened up and it becomes a thorough way for certain things, or you or let's say you just put a parking lot somewhere in the wrong corner with no lights, and now you've invited people to sit in the dark. There are the things as a neighbor that I'm concerned about as much as whether we're playing basketball or volleyball. So.
Yeah, I don't want to take away your time, guys. I know you have a theater agenda. It's a lot to digest. My thoughts, in my opinion, I think the survey you have, I would like to think we can use that data to kind of define. And again, you guys are the recreation. You are the eyes and ears of what recreation needs are in the community. If the baseball needs something, they're going to come to you. So I like to use, what you hear to kind of guide and maybe, guide us through the survey. But we'll look at the survey, and I still got, still got listed as what I heard this evening. It's enough to get us started, and maybe we'll come back next time with just some thoughts on how to answer your question. Yeah, again, we'll work through alternatives, we have input, we have an opportunity to put our input on, sort of parking it, to base basketball, right, those kind of things. We'll work through that committee over the next couple of months. So you'll have lots of opportunity to provide your comments on the sides there beyond that.
So, you have enough?
Again, unless there's anything, is there anything that wasn't said that you guys, anybody in the audience still would like to see?
Stand up, please.
My biggest concerns is parking. We're adding all these different activities, and I'm not saying I'm against it, but it's going to create more parking. And like Walt said, where's it going to be at?
Yeah.
And we know it's full already. So that's a pretty valid concern for me. And then the other one is, can anybody answer the question, if somebody goes down and drowns in the pond, who's responsible? Who is it the township or is it the homeowner?
I assume it would be the property owner because it's their pond.
Yes, I'm the homeowner.
Okay.
Could we do something with that?
It's gonna be all the parties involved, that's what it's gonna be,
Yeah, you're quite right.
100%.
So that's a big concern, because we see kids going down already, and we see guys using the trees for a porta potty. So,
Again, I would have to look into it, but I would assume it would be just like if you put a pool in your property, that it's the property's responsibility to fence that property. It's their responsibility to secure a hazard on their own property, and that the liability would fall on the property owner because it's their property. But again, I'm not telling you the township wouldn't work with you, but if you had a pool on your property, you would be required by township code to fence it.
Fence it.
Because it's your property.
but a natural pond,
It's still on the owner's property.
yeah, but does that need to be fenced like a swimming pool is intentionally put there?
I don't believe, no, there's not an ordinance for that, but again, I'm sure your insurance premiums are different because you have a pond on your property. I have no doubt that your insurance premiums would be lower had you not had a water structure on your property.
But I'd be willing to talk about it sometime, but I know you only got so much time now.
I'm here all the time, and I will be more than happy to drive down the street and talk to you anytime, sir.
And I appreciate the board and everybody that's here. The other concern is my grandchildren are right across the street from that skate park, and they're scared to go out. Would there be a way to put a filter between the road and the skate park? I'm just
I'm
asking.
sorry, you're scared to,
But
Like a filter, like a screen, trees or privacy fence or,
we want it open so you can see what's happening.
well,
You put screens up and lots of stuff goes on behind the bushes.
yeah, I know what you mean. I guess I'm not saying like totally screened, but just like partially screened. You know, you can see up the road pretty good when you come up to the corner.
But isn't that, Warren, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it, I mean, those trees are planted somewhat for, I don't want to say privacy, because that's not what you're.
I don't know why those trees were planted.
Okay.
I know they were under a state grant of some sort, but Chuck could probably say, you usually want your facilities up front, visually accessible, so one, people know it. Two, it also, with more eyes on something, precludes stuff. But again, as a police officer of 29 years, in Euclid that has parks, that has lights, Lionel Park, it's a passing of right that every single year they light all the porta potties on fire. Police sit there for 6 hours a night, there's lights. We have crime in parking lots in a full police department in daylight. So we've had people show up and, like, crime is just everywhere, unfortunately, and there are steps to mitigate it. But again, Chuck might be able to speak, but typically you want your facilities up front, so they're more in the public eye, and again, there's more eyes on them.
The skate park, we like right where it is because of that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so I
area where you want to have eyes on.
To kind of answer your question, there's trees there, they're obviously small.
Yeah, they're
And I-
up a little further.
Yeah.
They're the upper side.
They're up in front of the parking lot.
Yeah, not for
So-
Even that would be addressed in the new plan, where all the trees are in a picture.
Right.
We might just plant some pine trees there to help you.
That's
No, thank you. So Chuck, next, where we go from here for next one?
Well, again, if we're not doing a survey, you know, we'll live with the survey results. If we're okay with that, what I'd like to do is, I'm gonna talk to Warren, but, like, who should I call? Who is in the room that I need to talk to? Again, I think the baseball community is certainly one of the group I'd like to talk to. Is there anybody else? Soccer? Is there soccer?
Pickleball, you want Amy from from
Well,
pickleball?
Amy's on the committee.
Yeah, Amy, do you know anybody that plays tennis that you could put?
That would be a good time.
Unfortunately. No, we used to, did you know Lee Heller? She used to, she even did tennis camps. She's played for years.
She should be a good input as like, what is she, yeah, Lee Heller,
Lee Heller,
I can
okay.
call her too.
Yeah, we had her in first, we had her.
I know she's a big deal on pickleball. She called me and
Yeah.
sure, her name was like, yes,
I'll talk to
pickleball's
her and see what she
happening, but
says.
this
Okay,
is
and if so-
absolutely what it is.
Chuck, it's okay if we share your email to the committee and find people that they believe you should talk to.
Sure.
You're fine with them reaching out and giving you the contact information.
I think the Amish, I don't know how to go about contacting them, but that, I mean, that's a big part of our population, so that they need to be.
Do you know the bishops of all of the different churches in the township that, would you be able to, if we gave you some of Chuck's cards, maybe encourage them to reach out to Chuck or us so we can kind of tell them what we're doing to seek their input?
I'm happy to meet you in the park one day if you want to do that.
Is that something you would be,
That would be helpful to get the word out.
do you, how many bishops are in there? Do you- Six, okay. Okay, and, yeah. I think if we could maybe get the word to the different bishops, because you have a service every Sunday, is that every 2 weeks? Okay, so we could, would it be better if we put some, do we have flyers for this?
I can print some off. Yeah.
So we can print some flyers off to you, which kind of explain what we're doing here. We can even attach the proposal that Chuck is doing, kind of show him talking about what we're trying to do with these meetings, and that might help explain to the Amish community what we're looking at and seeking some input. And again, Chuck is willing to come out and meet, come back down here and sit with anybody that would like to meet with him.
The main thing that our community would use would be the ball.
The ball field for Essential Day and, okay, all right. So Brandon's gonna, are you stay for the remainder or leave, or are you gonna stay for the
I'm
meeting?
gonna print some right now.
Okay, so Miranda's gonna stay, to do some copies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have some extra cards? And I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I'll get a list of people for you.
Sure.
So this, this concludes this portion of the Park and Rec meeting. Chuck, thanks for coming. Everyone, we're going to keep going now. Is that okay, Chuck?
Yeah, sorry, that's
No, we appreciate it, thanks, Chuck.
Right, so.
Okay, item number 1 is the disc golf course. Board of Supervisors reviewed the proposal of the disc golf course and gave the go-ahead to continue.
I want you guys to take the 2-hour.
Administrative staff has been working with Steve Broad to get everything moving.
Okay.
And it was unanimous.
But again, if someone wants to do it.
Are you off that?
Yes, we are. I was actually going to talk to Steve today. I'm pretty sure we have everything ironed out. We're just waiting for us to receive the materials. I think you were getting all the files and stuff like that. Just a
Yeah, so
move is,
Next move is we wait until we receive the items, and then from there, we'll put it together and we'll put it in.
We get Steve out here, we got guys running, I'm willing to cover day off.
At least we, you know. All right, what do they call you from the I dropped that next part.
One of those.
all right, so we're gonna wait.
Cut out, and then you copy this so that way, the camera can pick it up. I'm sure you've got.
We've covered this.
Yeah, I think the next meeting, we're at,
Probably not gonna be able to work that schedule.
Okay,
yeah, so we
so
can pick a day or a time for it, so we can get a hold of the crew to see if they want to service, and we can do something ourselves.
sounds good. Number two, information kiosk. Jackson, Cody, and I were at the last board meeting, and Jackson did a great job of the presentation. He's scaled back the project a little bit. We were working on it last night at the meeting. The Lions Club building, and then, I don't know if you're bringing it already prefab, but I know a lot of the work is being done now. And,
Well, are you guys aware of these sketch drawings, the permanent installation of removal? So, because we're doing the park redesign, it doesn't make sense for us to install concrete pad and push that there, because then we'll be able to.
Oh, I wouldn't put a concrete, yeah, the same thing you can do with this one,
Oh, they're going to rebar.
Oh,
put legs on it for now, and he's just going to drill 4 holes, and just so it's secure, but no, it's a little different than what his design was.
Yeah, so once we get this redesigned, we start building this makes so much more sense up here. We can write rebar, pick it up, move it up, and drive it back in.
I'm not having any problem with it blowing over.
No, it will be secure, keeping it around.
It's
It's good, I don't have the logistics for it, but I promise you it will be secure.
So, and we decided we were going to put it over by the skate park, correct?
No, at least we're going to be going into, so we're driving, the main entrance of the park, skate park and parking lot over here. And as you go up, there's a sign that says, disabled parking only from here. It's going to be kind of like right there.
It's what, like the corner, like.
The corner of continuous, like, yes. Okay.
You installed.
As far as somebody
Yeah, that's where it's going. But I think it'd be nice to have another one down like where the gate is, because this go. Because whenever we go to chart, we go that way and then we will move up.
see, that's where I get into interpreters. So if it's not a main kiosk, it is something
Yes.
smaller, maybe on an angle, something birds are,
Well, I don't think the birds care where it is.
No.
All right, so Jackson Short was president of the March BOS meeting to talk about the Eagle Scout project and information kiosk at the park. He passed out design and cost information for the 4x6 mobile kiosk. It is fully funded by his fundraising efforts and a donation from the Lions Club. He was asked us to purchase the materials, okay? He's planning to install it by May 4th, and all the supervisors giving the thumbs up.
Yes, and just you are aware, you do not have, you can, if you want, you don't have to read it out, it's supposed to be the red line text, but I've got the red color, although it's nothing really confidential, everything is yes, yeah, it's just an explanation to overview.
So we should be expecting that done, but.
Yes, but that is something.
Our
No,
next,
okay.
our next topic is Family Fun Fridays.
We need to at least nail down that would give us a good start. Walter, you're still doing the movie we held
Yes, ma'am.
on the last Friday of each month, July
Yes,
and
ma'am.
August?
We do it in July and August, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Do you
so
know
we
what
want
the
to
dates are?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the dates yet or no?
But you can look up on the calendar.
So it's
The last Friday of the month.
It's gonna be
the 22nd?
July 25th and August 20th.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
So we definitely want these
So we'll try to do that.
available for those two days.
So do we either want to start? Well, we don't.
So
We've talked about, we've had many different discussions and different feedback from different members about, instead, we were doing every Friday in July and August, and Walt had come to us, because we had done movies in the past, and then Walt came in, and it was a good way of us starting to partner. We do a little more on Friday nights to keep them there until dark, because we usually just do 6 to 8. We were doing Fridays, July and August. We're torn. Do we scale it down? Do we keep it up? I think overall, we were getting a pretty good turnout for the July and August Fridays, but we need to decide whether we're doing that. So we can start scheduling. We can't do much more than
I think from the feedback that we're getting from the people that were showing up every week, they wanted more rather than less.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to Friday nights.
I think that there is a need for us to stay with the Fun Fridays throughout the duration. Once we start, we can run to the end of the season, culminating on that August 29th date. I think there are scalable events, but they need to at least have,
Yeah.
barring
I think you can have big nights, like big nights to go correspond with the movies. We can also have nights that it's just like a scavenger hunt and a small crowd.
I think we had that for rudimentary samples when we had it for all. I mean, I love the idea of, barbecue thing. I mean, I'm not saying that we
Definitely want to partner.
Now the fact that we have our skate park, I mean, that's a feature that we would want to emphasize. I
It's a
know
big deal, that's
still
so big.
opening
That's
with
a-
it, but
Yeah, I think that's a big event, and is that our kickoff to summer is,
So you guys want to run this thing for 2 months?
Yep.
So let's vote on it, how about that?
Well, start date,
July 4th.
that, okay.
Can I give you some information first? That's the first part of my help.
yeah.
Just what we experienced as a church, I'd say we saw an increase of about 20 people to our movie night when it happened during your Family Fun Fridays, which was pretty cool. And then we would see them kind of, when they were done, we set up about an hour and a half early. We usually get free ice creams or snacks and drinks and popsicles, and we found families just setting up their chairs and just relaxing. The kids were going from place to place, which is what Kevin and I had talked about. Like, how can we integrate, since we're doing this anyway? And then we had a really good response from whoever came to Family Fun, and they stayed at the movie. Some people came to the movie, saw what was happening at Family Fun, and mingled over there. But just to give you that number, there was about a 20% increase from what our standard number was. We run around 60 people or so on a movie night. So we were running about 40, 45, and then it would jump up to 60, 65. And then if the weather's bad, of course, you know how that affects us. And then, I told you this before, I just want to tell you, even though we're a church, we're not doing all Christian movies jammed down your throat. We're trying to pick family-friendly movies, whether they're Disney or whatever it is. We're trying to give a good experience for the township, the borough, or anybody else that's come through that part. But if there's something that you're doing in regards to Family Fun Night that we can be an assist in, whether you're going to need bathrooms or you want to run into the church for something, we want to be that for you that night. Or if something, but the reason we don't do the movies in June and September, we found that the moisture in the evenings was so great, it was affecting our equipment. And then it was just getting dark too late for the people, and then you're like, they want to cut out early. So just after years of doing it, we found July and August were perfect. And so there's just a little bit more information. It's working. It's pretty cool. So whatever you need from us.
Thank you.
So I think starting July 4th, I know it is July 4th, but
That's the first Friday.
that's the first Friday.
We did July 5th last year.
We're missing a couple of members for sure.
we're still on.
Yeah, I know.
July 11th through August
2 months.
29th. Because I'm just delighted, then it's a long weekend. I mean, I usually have a party, which everybody's like, oh, we're going to beach every day, we got 4 days, we're doing this, we got 4 days.
That's true. A lot of people have Thursday off.
And I like the idea of condensing it in between movie nights, so let's vote.
Start on July 11th and on August 29th.
That's what we're doing. Those in favor?
Alright.
Second.
Thank you.
All second. I have a second.
Yeah, second, she made the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I think we got to see.
Maybe my son's name, his birthday's July.
It's a process.
I'm
That's
sure.
our anniversary, and who knows if this baby's coming that day.
That's true.
So,
You guys have it?
I'm due July 7th, so. Oh, yeah.
So you might have even been in the hospital.
I'm assuming that she was
You
5
can't
days.
assume what the baby is.
Yeah.
She was 5 days.
Let's see, the next item is skate park grand opening.
I like what's there, yeah, everything's there. I did speak to Bethany Boyer. Bethany for the
Park bench.
The current judge and Deputy Warner. She might have a different last name, but not the one
I've got the right one, so
Oh.
we're good.
I
Maybe ones that, they're both the same name probably,
Okay.
same person, different name, depending on whether she's working or not. She is available that day. She would like to maybe figure out what size plaque to put on so you could talk to her, and she was wanting to post stuff, so I know you did that little poster, if we could have that available. Or is there something?
On Facebook.
Oh, yes, sorry, we were talking about so many posters, but I'm absolutely using post things, yes, and I'm making up a poster. It's been a crazy weeks, so I'm not to that, but that will pass tomorrow.
Are you okay if I send her your way to get?
Absolutely, I've talked to her before, she's welcome to come down.
She was excited about it.
I talked to Pastor Brook about additional parking that day, just in case. And he is responsible, sure, accept that we need to manage the situation so everyone parks on the asphalt. Would you like that?
Or the stone in the back.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what a couple of us are going to be doing this during the grand opening.
What would you say you can accommodate as far as vehicles?
Let's take this day where you're dedicating the park. Let's just say you have 150 people come out.
Yeah.
We're willing to extend our parking lot to you, as long as we can have somebody manage, keep them off the grass. So, and if you run low on people, just ask us, maybe we can have somebody from the church help. But then we have men's rooms and ladies' rooms there. We have air conditioning turned on depending on what time of the year or heat, or somebody needs to get in. But we can all open up our facility so you have a building right there. If you need, you just have to reach out to us, let us know what you need, and let us accommodate you. I mean, it's that simple.
Okay, I guess I was asking the number of cars.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it can hold, probably around 60 cars.
Or do you know offhand, I apologize, how many parking spots there are?
I do not know.
Yeah, I do.
We had close to 40.
Yeah, we are going to be resurfacing and restriping, and if anybody had not seen, we had moved out the island. So that should allow a few more parking spots. Obviously, would let people probably park up near the tennis courts, which could hold a handful more cars. And again, I would encourage, if the board members are going to attend, we're going to reach out to Senator Youth and William's office, encourage them to park here, and then we can shuttle everyone down.
I was also going to talk to Widespread Rental and try to open up some communication with them, see if maybe, if we need to, maybe ask them if we could park some cars there. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Can we do for parking, there's with the grass and such, that have manpower trying to keep people on? I know with the election, we had all the little fencing, is that something we can either do?
Yeah, stakes and like.
Stakes and,
What?
The unfortunate thing is we're talking April, and it's typically on that
Some
side.
stakes like that.
Oh, yeah, we should have some stakes and some some
To help.
barrier tape. We can
Right.
define it as put some up to keep
No,
it
no,
from grass.
no.
We
We
just
have the caution tape and some stakes, we could, if you're okay, we can stake off the grass.
What I'd like to add is, at the church, it's not that parking on our grass, we don't have the best grass in the world, we got good grass, but it's not that parking on the grass is the end of the world. The things that we go through is, if you just allow parking on the grass all the time, they don't even park in the parking lot, they park in our grass, and then this is all the time, every time it happens, we ask them if they move, they literally say things like, when we're done baseball, we'll move. Or, I'll be back in 20 minutes, and meanwhile, we're done, and we're mowing around cars. If you guys came to us and said, look, on April 20th, we're having this event, and it's dry, and it's not where we're gonna create ruts on our grass, I mean, we got that potential to park in that. It's not a big deal for us to say, look, in this event, we're gonna tape it off, and we open up parking, people understand, hey, special event, they got parking, I'll put up a no parking sign for that. If I had a huge revival meeting and I ran out of parking, guess where we're gonna park? On our grass.
Yeah.
And it's just like Warren says, he doesn't want people just driving all over the grass in the park.
Yeah.
They need some, so I'm open to that. If you ended up needing another 50 and the ground's good, we're parking on the grass behind the back lot. We'll park them somewhere.
No,
That's us being a neighbor.
we'd like to put, to keep them out of the grass, like put
Yeah,
stakes
but he's
in.
saying if the ground works, that we
See,
can.
well,
Yeah, that's what he's
I don't want
saying.
to turn the grass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's suitable, it's not a luxury home with luxury grass. It's grass, and we don't want it to be bouncy when we know, you know.
And
We want it to be
Pastor, we
rolling.
could roll it out for you if there was a little bit of.
That type of stuff, you know, but listen, if it's not swampy and we need it, we're your neighbor, that's who we want to be. On the other hand, I don't want cars parking on there every Saturday when I got volunteers mowing, on the other saying, I'm not mowing anymore, I'm tired of getting yelled at and cars parking here, and that's what.
So can you mark in your calendar April 26th?
What day is that?
A Saturday.
A Saturday?
At 1 o'clock.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna open up our parking lot that day for you to need it.
Yeah.
And, whatever else you need, and if we run out of parking, whoever's in charge, we're gonna talk, and I'm gonna say, look, let's try to park here, and they're gonna take care of it. They're
Okay.
capable, yeah.
Kevin's in charge.
Kevin?
We already talked about this.
Yes. But I wanted you to hear from our lips as a church, I've already talked to the people at the church, they're like, yeah, let's do what we can, as long as it's not something where we're constantly being taken advantage of by just everyday people coming in and driving across the grass.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, Kevin,
Yes, sir.
widespread round.
Thank you. Thank
We'd be glad to accommodate you. I'd ask one thing, somebody manage it, because it's a busy season, and it's hazardous for all the kids and all the equipment. If you have somebody over to manage it, I'll gladly tell them, you know, where they can park, it's not real huge, but we could probably handle 20 cars. maybe.
Are you talking about the area out front, like the gravel out front?
Yeah,
Is that about 20 cars, you think?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
you. I'll stop by.
Maybe that's a little strong, 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop by.
Okay.
Thank you. So I reached out to Bobby Buzzard. He was at your meeting last month. He seemed to have some connections with the skate shops and a lot of the skate. Yep.
I was gonna say, I spoke to somebody Monday, a skateboarder, and she's gonna reach out to a skate shop in Reading that offers summer camp, so I wasn't sure if
Oh, nice. That's
you
good.
guys would be interested in having like a community skate
Yeah.
lesson.
Yeah, I think that was one of our ideas for
Okay.
next Friday too.
So if I get their information, but they won't run like week-long ones as well, so maybe if Park and Rec, because we used to run a
Yeah.
summer camp way back when, right, Sherry?
I wasn't here with.
No, but I'm saying, we used to have a summer camp, I think before COVID.
We did, yes.
That ran for a few weeks.
Right, and I know we did a week-long tennis camp and
Okay.
stuff like that, so if we could do a week-long
Skate
skate park.
instruction.
Skate
Yeah.
instruction.
And Steve's, not Steve, Ray said he had contact, a dad in town.
For,
So Bobby Buzzard has, so Bobby Buzzard has a lot of connections, and one of his connections is a gentleman who runs skateboard competitions. So he's going to gather up some phone numbers and send them to us.
Perfect.
Seems to be a good guy. In fact, I think he's on the committee. No?
Yeah, he's not on the committee, he voiced interest in helping, but I don't think he has the capacity to be on the committee.
This data board, I'm not.
So nobody,
Oh, no.
you would make the April, May, June, July, so we work that,
Okay.
because then you start all of their projects, so we're going on without them. He did seriously send his regards that he
Yeah.
couldn't, he was kind of disappointed,
Yeah.
just that time of year.
Okay.
It does not work for taking the time to be down here when they could have a project in Maryland, Ohio, wherever it is.
Okay.
Anybody else on skate park opening day? All right, item number 3, Harmony Day. The reason why I brought this up is because Pastor Shore's got some music, folk music action going on, and when him and I talked about it a week or two ago, I asked him to come to the meeting tonight, and let's start getting the ball talking about it, see if maybe there's some place where the Park and Rec Committee could fit in. The date is September 20th. Harmony Day is not, it's kind of morphing a little bit. It used to be a craft fair in town, in the borough. That has since been canceled. I know that there's a 5K run at the landfill that's being funded and financed and backed, supported pretty well by the people at the landfill. They're really excited to do this, first annual, and that'll be around 1 o'clock. And I know Pope was talking about music. I wasn't sure of his timeline, but would you like to
Sure, I'll give you an idea.
give us an idea?
We as a church, we're in the borough and the township, so we're kind of a mixed breed there. But we've always felt like neglected during Harmony Days. And as we try to do something, we felt like we were in the outskirts of town, and we weren't part of the borough, but yet in the borough. And we were talking about these things we wanted to do. We wanted to have a bluegrass concert with a barbecue competition, cook-off, something along that line. That's just the thought. And we talked about it for a year, running to Kevin, and he happens to say to me, man, I'd love to do something with barbecue. And I'm like, you're not going to believe this. But at the end of the day, this is what's already happening at our church. There's 3 bluegrass bands that are coming on that 20th of September. This is before I knew there was metamorphosing Harmony Days or whatever's happening.
Not much.
And these times aren't set, but we were looking at when Harmony Days in the borough was about to end. Me and Kevin were talking about how can we draw the crowd towards the township. And I said, well, what if we started the barbecue thing and the concert right around the same time that the borough was ending with their flea market stuff and everything that was happening there. And then we can keep people in town and do this and then get more people involved. So we are definitely having around the close of Harmony Days, and I want to work with Township on this because Kevin said, I would like to do something as a township in the park, same time you're doing something with the church. And then we could do the barbecue thing, or whether you guys wanted to head up barbecue thing, because I've already got the concert thing started. And just for the board's sake, we're already at $20,000+ to pay these bands to come in, because if you know anything about me in the church, I don't want to do it on a low scale. I want to wow the people. I want the people to say, wow, this church is amazing, this township's amazing. I mean, look at the screen in our movie. That's just who we are. So the bluegrass bands are unbelievable, and on the bluegrass chart, so they're good stuff. And it's not just Christian bluegrass, it's bluegrass, and then one's a gospel bluegrass, and then one's a local band. How can we as a church get involved with the township at this day and do something? And we're prepared, if it rains, we're setting up a big tent. We're ordering a tent that can hold 300+ people. And the other thing is, I don't know when you get a permit for this. So keep that in mind, right?
From the borough, not from the township.
Not from the township. All right, we're keeping it on the township side. We're keeping that. At the end of the day, this is our goal. We've got the bands coming. We want to do something. Meadow Creek and New Holland is going to sponsor us. And my invitation to the township is, what can we do together or at the same time that complements each other? But that's what I got. I definitely have the music coming, the barbecue thing. It's not set in stone yet. I just know I talked to Meadow Creek and they're going to sponsor us. But that's pretty pretty much it. I wanted to all be one, especially Harmony Days, and I felt like the Borough did their own thing and kind of kicked us out. But it's something.
So
You
just-
know, we found it hard to get people to
Yeah.
work hard on Harmony Day. I know they did a pickleball tournament one time, and they did their pickleball players together. There wasn't enough to bring them, your concert would bring them there.
They're very family oriented, you know what I mean? But I would love to do something with the township, or not necessarily yoked together in it, because maybe some people would have problems with the township doing something exactly with the church, but like we do family fun night, and when it ends, we happen to have a movie night, we're working together. Let's do something like that, and let's make it big, whatever you guys want to do.
We could do some tournaments in the middle of the day. Well, definitely, I like the idea to partner with them on that too.
Yeah.
What are you telling me? You said their craft is out. You talking about the borough sales?
The thing that they did in the borough, were, it was quite organized. And there were like a little fish pond and the fire company was doing their thing. They'd be showing off a new truck and the helicopter, they bring the helicopter in, just a crew there. You know, just a lot of like little community things and they're not doing that this year. So, I could get a list of what they do, what they were doing, and maybe there's a void there that maybe we could fill, maybe they could do some of those things at the park. What do you guys think?
Say, recommend maybe an agenda item for next meeting?
Yes,
Just
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about spaces and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think we want to do something, if we can just put it on the agenda, try to figure out what's happening. It's,
All right, so we're gonna put it on as an agenda, item, and then we'll all think about it. Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Your time of day, then you're talking mid-afternoon and into the early evening?
I'd be definitely willing to work with the township on, you know, how it works. If you guys need to do something first, make it work, then we'll go second, you know?
Okay.
You know, for example, let's say you guys had a truck show. You know, these local guys around the area, there's about 30 to 40 trucks they might park and say, hey, you know, we just have big trucks. And they get in trouble with the cops because their wheels stick out too far. And, you know, that kind of thing. We'll work with you and we'll put them in the back lot on the grass if the weather permits. And then you have a car show come in. You call it the township car show. You know, whatever you guys need to do, let's talk about it. We can help you get done what you need to get done. Let's do that.
And the music's on your property.
The music's going to be on the property and it's free. We're not charging for it. And again, the food would be, if we do the barbecue thing, we're going to try and do it as a donation thing and not sell it. But then again, the only thing I have in stone is the groups, because I had to sign contracts with them. Outside of that, it's me and you and Parks and Recreation trying to work something out.
Fair enough, thank you.
Well, thanks for being interested. I like it. Are you home, Dave?
Maybe their names?
Yeah, good to see you, man.
I don't know.
See you.
Call me, I'll stop out.
See you, man.
I'm starting to talk, I'm starting to subtract. 2025 pickup PA.
Those are recommended dates.
I know the
Sure.
dates that I figured would work best for that.
What do you guys like? Any other ideas?
I don't think
Are we interested? Are we interested in this? I remember I felt like there was some interest in it. Is this something we will do?
I think this is something we want to do. It's a lot of how we are, who runs the
That's just one more than just the committee members.
I was first off, going to ask the scout troop to join. Right out of the box, to get there's as many adults as there are kids, which kind of works in this thing because we're gonna be on roads and there'd be a little danger involved. I think if we can get it,
They want to help at all?
excuse me?
The Lions Club, we can see if they have
That's
been
what I'm like.
joining in. I just need to send a date. I can do registration and I can do creating kind of the announcements for it.
And that might help you.
Kevin?
Yes.
I've seen other communities do this before, is to put those big orange flags out, to say, you know, like row crew or whatever, ahead, because what we did years ago is we would literally have our cars parked with the four ways on, and I kept waiting for somebody to hit the car. Those orange flags that you can, they're on the stands, you know, those are perfect.
After I talked to the board, I was gonna talk to Don and see what kind of cones and things they have,
Yeah.
which probably should be having vests too.
Yeah, and don't put younger people out on like Chestnut Tree and stuff, like, it's just too crazy.
If I remember correctly, it was Pecos that provided any of those.
Oh, yeah, we get all the vests, the trash
Yeah.
bags, and the gloves,
Correct.
more than we need.
This is what we get here.
Safety
This
vests.
is a recent times past,
Yes.
that we kind of had a leader, if you would, that kind of collected, set up those caution.
You would congregate it in like certain corners, and then they would call.
Correct,
And
and,
they pick-
you know, bags would be stationed at one specific spot. Lazinski was right behind,
Right.
Was it
So-
Christie? Was
Kind of-
she like super involved in
She's
this?
our recycling coordinator, so she wasn't super involved in setting it up,
Yeah.
but she is the one who like registered it with the event, got the supplies, that's what we have them
Yeah.
in the building.
Okay. And then do we pick the streets that we're on?
I drive around.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's what figure out.
There's not a designated route. Like I said, I say all this, but I kind of have to accuse myself as there's no Saturday in May that I will ever do. I just, it's not going to happen for me, so.
Yeah.
So you don't need to do it.
So,
No, I can vote, go ahead, you guys have that. I
so,
think it's great.
let's start by picking a day.
I'm good with any. Kelly had 3 dates that she gave. I'll let you pick the next.
Kelly,
Mr.
pick a
Florida
day.
man. Let's not go with May 10th, that is May 8th.
Okay.
So the 17th or 24th, but down to 2.
Any other important events on those days?
Excuse me?
The 17th or the 24th?
So which one do
Let's go with the 17th.
Yeah, go in the middle, 17th.
I-
Make a motion
Go ahead, Sharon.
to do our Make America Beautiful, whatever it is, picking up trash.
Pick up the,
Yeah, pick up PA, Saturday, May 17th. And I would also like to add, maybe if we do it from 9 to noon.
So,
And then we'll just pick the streets.
Stop signs and intersections are really good.
so how do we get
Only
the word out?
because everyone throws their shoes.
Yep, you're looking at it.
Are you gonna,
I'll make some posters, something you can physically distribute as well, it'll go out on Facebook, it'll go out on the website,
Like,
And they
Sharon.
were registered
And
to
you'll
use
be-
and I will register with Pick Up PA, get that free supplies.
Can we get the, I'm gonna call them caution signs?
Yeah, I
And
will
working
speak
on
and
whatever they, whatever
with
they
them.
have.
Just bright orange
What
signs,
day is it?
Saturday, May
May
17th.
17th.
May 17th. I can come out and use my work truck that has lights, and then we can throw the bags and come out. Well, we have work signs. that we-
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
I know, we talked about that, that's why I was gonna put the signs out in front yard, so
Yeah.
come on, you guys can see it come out. Obviously, one thing you can't cover. Yep. All right, sounds good. Any other business?
Do we have to have
Any other business out there?
vote on the date, or are we good?
No, yeah.
I made a motion.
Second.
Okay. We're all Green or brown?
Brown is typically the sign of recreation, and Commonwealth green says it's a PennDOT sign.
They both here do it under lighting.
This looks like it's like
Dark.
wooded walls.
So it's gonna be a 4-foot like PennDOT sign, it's gonna be metal with reflective lettering, it's gonna have 2 6-foot wood posts that are gonna be cut at that angle.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have a second sign posted next to it or underneath it that says park closes at dusk.
Oh, nice.
I vote brown.
I'll second it.
Okay. It's a little bit urgent because we had no sign we took it down, so
Yeah,
it's gonna take about a week or two. It doesn't have to be permanent, obviously, with going the
Yeah,
upgrade
yeah,
plan. We just wanna get something up, it's gonna be facing it as soon as you pull in on the right side, facing the road before you hit the parking lot.
Two-sided.
One side, you're gonna know once you're in the park, that you're in the park.
Warren, you said it, but I think.
I thought it showed
What
you
what
were
is
in the
what is
road,
the
you can see
rudimentary
it.
sign
Yeah.
say?
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
face
face
the
the road. It's-
Park closes at dusk.
Okay, I thought it was the one that.
Yeah.
It's
We
just
had an
that
issue
way
with
and
that,
way.
where we just stated when it opens, never when it closes.
We're just gonna say park closes at dusk. Yes.
All right, so it's been,
You want brown?
You guys want the motion.
It's not a motion, you gotta tell me, we're ordering it in the morning.
Brown.
Brown.
Brown?
Brown.
Done.
okay.
Wow.
Any other business? No?
And if we wanted green, you still ordered brown.
No, I made green, someone told me it was brown.
Oh, okay.
Everybody good? I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn. All those in favor?
And next meeting, April 17th.
April 17.
And we'll maybe I'll send out for our Friday nights and start filling